Hello, my name is Courtney Dillard. I am interning this summer at Texas Health and Racket Club. I am shadowing or being a mentee for Nick Roblowski. He is one of the managers at Texas Health and Racket Club. He focuses a lot more on members and sales and marketing. And then I also have been shadowing Corey Schneider. She is also the marketing I guess you could say manager there at Texas Health and Racket Club. She does a lot of our Instagram, Facebook, any marketing for actually all of Randall Lavender, the owner of Texas Health and Racket Club's businesses. Another person who I've also been shadowing is my general manager, Bradley Campion, as well as two of the personal trainers, Jake Wotton and Deepo Medina. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about my experience with the training sessions that I've been shadowing. A big takeaway from the training sessions with Jake specifically is his energy and how he approaches each session. He knows what his clients are expecting from him, and I think that is exactly something that the word that I'll be using a lot today is professional. I think one of the biggest things that I've taken away from this internship is how to be a professional and how to have value in yourself and reflect that in your work that you're doing. Back to Deepo, he's also a very put together human. He knows his values in himself. He is very much more in connect with the mind and body aspects of training. And I love that because the programs for Deepo and Jake that they give their clients are not very different, right? But it's purely how they approach the sessions, how they approach their clients, and how they portray themselves as a professional is exactly what sets them apart and what makes them different. That's a big question that I think most of us are asked in any interview that you go through, like what makes you different from another person. And I think that's a really big takeaway that you can get from an internship is figuring out your value and figuring out your niche. Because in the personal setting, if that is what you're interested in, you have to have that. If you don't know your value and you don't know what you can offer your clients, then you will not get clients. And if you do, you will not keep your clients. So figure out what your value is, figure out what your little niche is, I guess you could say, and figure out what sets you apart from the other trainers, right? It can't be that you give awesome workouts. Anybody can do that. They can go on YouTube and get a really great HIIT workout and feel really good. But it's about what you can give them on a personal level is what sets you apart. And that is the whole aspect of being a personal trainer. That's what they're paying for. They're paying for you. And if you don't have that value, then you will not get anything in return as well. So that leads me to sales. How are you going to sell yourself ideally? What are you going to be giving? What is your value? That is something that I have been learning. And from observing, I have open mind. Like this first summer one, I went in with an open mind and told myself I was going to be a sponge. I was going to throw out all the information I've ever known before about sales and marketing and absorb as much information as I can and see exactly how the people who are being successful, how they are being successful, right? What sets them apart? What makes them different, right? Observe. Do not come into the internship thinking that you know everything and that you know exactly what you're going to do and that it's pointless, because it's not. You get to observe people. You get to see how other people work. And you can take that in a positive note. If you don't like how one of the people who you are shadowing with are going through the movements, then take that advice, write it down, put it in your notes, and tell yourself, that's not how I'm going to be. I am going to hold myself up to a higher standard. Through the sales, you have to be able to rebuttal. You have to be able to let people know your value, one, and also that they do need you. From a professional standpoint, that's what you are. You are a professional. You are giving them your diagnosis. You are telling them, I think we should meet 2 times a week, 3 times a week. Maybe you can get away with 1 time a week if that's all you can afford right now, right? You have to let them know what the value is that they will be receiving, right? And you also have to reflect that in your day-to-day life. And being in this internship site is a great way to do that because you are put into the real world and you have that ability to be the intern that is learning, right? I highly suggest to ask your internship site wherever you are going if you are going to be able to work with people one-on-one, if you are going to be able to practice and talk. Something that I've been able to do is something that's so simple that we do in class, such as 4317, where we did blood pressure, circumference, and all of that. Those are things that you're going to be doing, right? And if you're not, then that kind of decreases your value, right? If it's something where you're like, oh, I don't need to do that, but look how much more professional you look. Look how much more professional you look when you're able to sit in front of somebody and tell them, this is why we need to do this, this is what we need to do for you, and these are why, and this is what we expect to see after you work with me. Building that value. And that comes back to sales. Everything comes back to sales. What are you going to be able to provide your clients, and what are you going to be able to provide the facility that you're working at? We've been able to go through price presentations. That's been super awesome. I've worked one-on-one with Nick and with Bradley. Nick more on the membership side, showing the value of the facility, showing what we can offer and show her what makes us different. That's been really neat to listen to all the rebuttals because it's kind of silly because they came in wanting a membership, but then we still end up having to convince them. So it's a very interesting process. And something that I've been really thankful for that I've been able to experience because you really just don't know until you see it firsthand. And it's really neat to see it from an internship perspective versus being thrown in and expected all of these things and expecting to know when you simply don't because you didn't have that experience. So take advantage and be a sponge, be a professional sponge. I have also been able to see how Corey puts together our Instagram pages, making sure it makes nice and clean, keep up with the theme that we have, and put together videos. I've seen her work with the software that she does the videography with, yes. And then also how she edits photos and then goes through the process of making sure that she has is keeping up good communication with the members and all sorts of things like that. And I've made tons of phone calls, so it's been super interesting, and it's really neat to see what all happens behind the scenes of running a successful local gym. I've also had the experience of going through COVID with this, right? We all know that we're in this situation together, right? But once again, we have to be as professional as we can be. We have to hold ourselves up to that higher standard, and we have to make sure that we are also following all of the rules that we are wanting our staff and our clients and our members and everything to follow. So make sure that we're properly cleaning, make sure that we're wearing our mask, make sure that we are wearing our gloves when we were doing that. Something that Texas Health and Racquet Club did that I really liked was we actually practiced role-playing situations where someone walked up to us and they were like, I don't want my temperature taken, I don't want to wear the mask, I don't want to wear the gloves, and we let them know reasons why. Also approaching people who are not cleaning the equipment, letting them know, hey, we have a 3-strike policy. If I see you not cleaning again, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And feeling comfortable and confident with being able to talk to people and let them know the situation and not being scared of hearing something in return. So being able to practice that, just like a sales pitch, has been super beneficial in my learning experience through this internship. So wrapping up with everything, I think the biggest takeaway that I would suggest for you going into the internship, if you are during summer 2, or if you already are in an internship, or even just going into your career in the future, we are young. We are just finishing college, and we need to hold ourselves up to a higher standard, right? We need to be as professional as we can be if you want people to take you seriously. I know me, especially as a female, it's very hard to gain that respect, but knowing your value, knowing what you can offer, holding yourself up to a higher standard, and if you want to be successful, then you will do all of those things and be as professional as you can be, because that's what's going to set you apart and that's what's going to make you successful. But if you want to be someone who just comes in and gets it done just because you can and go through it, then that's up to you. But if you want to learn to be a professional and hold yourself up to a higher standard, then I highly suggest to go in there into your internship the same way. Expect a job offer, expect to show your value, and expect to be the best that you can be, because you're only helping yourself and you're gaining that trust and that respect from those people around you. And it's going to be super rewarding. And yes, that's pretty much all I have to say here. Take your job seriously, be as professional as you can be, and find your value. You have value. You've learned so much. You just put yourself through 4 years of college. So take it and run with it, and be the sponge that you are.